In this video, I want to talk about galvanic and voltaic cells when you are at conditions other than standard state. A lot of times in a problem, you will be given these reduction potentials for your half reactions that are happening in your voltaic cell, and you will see that there are these little degree signs, which means standard state. So what's happening is that these reduction potentials are measured using standard state cells, and standard state is 25 degrees Celsius, 1 atm, and 1 molar solutions. Now here's the problem. Not every cell you make is going to have 1 molar solutions. And even if you have 1 molar solutions to start with, as this voltaic cell operates, eventually, whichever of these is a reactant is going to get used up and eventually be less than 1 molar. And whichever of these might be products is going to increase and get bigger than 1 molar. So your voltage will change based on these different molarities. So we need to make sure that we are comfortable finding the voltage, or E of the cell, or cell potential when we're not at standard state. So again, that little degree sign is standard state conditions. It's different than STP because it's 25 degrees Celsius, 1 atm, and 1 molar solutions. When you calculate E of the cell using reduction potentials, you are automatically getting the standard state one. If you don't want the standard state one, then you have to use this equation, which is called the Nerst equation, which is on your AP Chemistry formula sheet. There's a bunch of different terms in here. So this is E of the cell at any conditions. And what we were doing is we were taking the standard state E of the cell and subtracting this term. This R is your ideal gas constant. Just make sure that you're using the one with joules in it, because E of the cell is measured in voltage, or volts. And if we look on my formula sheet, a volt is a joule per coulomb. So we want to make sure we use the R value here, the 8.314 joules per mole Kelvin. And then we'll notice that we multiply it by temperature. The temperature has to be in Kelvin, so the Kelvins cancel. And then you end up dividing by N, if I scroll down, where I find this Nernst equation. N is the number of moles of electrons, and F is Faraday's constant, which is this number of coulombs per moles of electrons. So you'll notice moles of electrons cancel, the kelvins cancel, and I'm essentially left with joules per coulomb, which is, as I said, the unit of voltage. Now the next part of this term has ln of Q. And if you remember Q from when you covered equilibrium, Q is the quotient, which is really just plugging in your concentrations into the equilibrium constant for that particular reaction. So it's very similar to K, except we're not plugging in equilibrium data. In this case, we're plugging in whatever molarities we have. What you can do with this equation is you can actually calculate the voltage. You find E of the cell by doing cathode minus anode with the reduction potentials at standard state, and you plug all this in. But most of the time, questions don't ask you for the new voltage not at standard state. They will simply ask, would your voltage increase, decrease, or remain the same compared to your standard state voltage? That saves us usually a lot of time from actually having to calculate using this entire equation, because R is a constant, N is a constant for the reaction, F is a constant. T, yes, that might change if you're not at 25 degrees Celsius, but if you're still at standard state, all those things are still the same. It's really going to come down to calculating Q. It's a Q question. We could answer the question of whether the voltage increases, decreases, or remain the same simply by just looking at this equation and calculating Q. So let's look at an example. Let's say this is my redox reaction happening in my voltaic cell. First of all, let's just practice writing Q, since you might be a little rusty at it since equilibrium was a bit ago. The expression for Q, which would be the same as the expression for Kc, would be products over reactants raised to the power that is the coefficient. However, notice that you do not include solids or liquids in your Q expression. So this is Zn2 plus aqueous over the concentration, these square brackets mean molarity, of Cu2 plus. If I was actually plugging in standard conditions, both of these would be 1 molar. My Q would always be 1 at standard conditions. So if I go back to this Nerst equation, which is on my formula sheet, if Q is 1, taking the natural log of 1 is going to give me 0. This whole term drops out, and E cell, my cell potential, my voltage, is the same as the standard state one, which makes sense because it's a standard cell. However, if Q is not 1, if my molarities are not all 1, I am going to get a different number for Q. And whether it's a big number or a small number, will impact the voltage. If Q is bigger than 1, if Q is 5, 10, 20,000, anytime Q is bigger than 1, if you take a natural log of a number bigger than 1, you will get a positive number. Try it. Put it into your calculator. Take the natural log of any number bigger than 1, you get a positive number. And therefore, R, T, N, and F, those are all positive numbers. This stays as subtracting a term from the cell potential at standard state. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my standard state cell potential, I'm subtracting something from it. So my E of the cell, my voltage, will be less for this non-standard state cell than the standard one because I am subtracting a term. So my E of the cell will decrease. My voltage would be smaller. And it kind of makes sense because if I look at, let's say, this equation again, my Q is my products over my reactants. If my Q is bigger than 1, that means that I have a bigger numerator than I do denominator. My product has built up and I have less reactant. So it kind of makes sense that if I have less reactant, I am not going to get as big of a voltage as I would had I had more in the standard state cell. And again, if Q is bigger than 1, I know I get a positive and I know I'm subtracting a term, so the voltage goes down. This is actually what happens during the course of a battery. Eventually, over time, you're going to use up some of your reactant and you are going to make more product, and the voltage will continually to go down and down and down until the battery dies, which is the point that you basically reach equilibrium. Oppositely, if your Q is less than 1, what does that mean? That means a number smaller than 1, still a positive number, because Q is always going to be a positive number, just less than 1. Take a moment in your calculator, try it, do the natural log of 0.1, 0.001, 0.0001. You'll see that your natural log ends up being negative. And what happens is these two negatives cancel. So you're now essentially adding a term to your standard state voltage, so therefore your voltage goes up. So if Q is less than 1, your voltage goes up. If Q is greater than 1, your voltage goes down. If Q is 1, you are at standard state and it's the same as the standard state voltage. Here, I have my reduction potentials. This is a voltaic cell. There is clearly no source of power or battery, so I know this is a voltaic cell. And so I can use my reduction potentials. I said, hey, this one has a higher reduction potential. It is much more likely to be reduced, and therefore this one stays going forward. This is going to happen at the cathode. So this piece of metal is the cathode. This piece of metal is the anode. The Cu2 plus one is happening here. It's going forward. The anode one is actually going in reverse, and I can add them together and get my overall. I can get my voltage by doing the cathode minus the anode. Some people like to add them and flip the anode, and that's perfectly fine. I tend to always do cathode minus anode and keep these voltages as is. Just as a reminder, if you multiply by a factor, that does not change your reduction potentials. Notice I wrote them clearly with this little degree sign telling you that these are standard state, and right now I have my half cells at standard state. Notice even though I don't really need Zn2 plus to start with, it's not a reactant. A standard state cell still has 1 molar Zn2 plus, even though it happens to be a product there and would build up more over time. Okay, you can calculate delta G, you can show the flow of electrons, they always go anode to cathode. But what I really want to focus on is, hey, if I were to change these molarities now, let's say Zn2 plus is 0.01 and Cu2 plus is 2 molar, would the voltage be higher, lower, or remain the same as the standard state cell potential? So give it a shot and then check your work. So this is really all going to come down to calculating Q, because I'm going to look at my Nerst equation, which is right here. My E of the cell, we already said, was 1.1 volt for standard state, but let's see what I would be doing. Would I be adding or subtracting a term from it? And it's all going to be based on whether the sign of LNQ is positive or negative. So let's calculate Q. I have my overall reaction, which is the same as the one I wrote before. So I'm just going to plug in. I have 0.01 for Zn2 plus. I have 2 molar for Cu2 plus, and I get a number that's less than 1. When I take the natural log of a number less than 1, I get a negative. And so therefore, I am subtracting a negative term. The two negatives cancel, and I'm really adding this term to the standard state voltage. So the voltage would go up. As a heads up, the AP exam does not like arguments based on Le Chatelier's principle because voltaic cells are going forward. They are not at equilibrium. Le Chatelier's principle is an argument you make for something being at equilibrium and getting shifted out of it. The voltaic cell is not at equilibrium. If it was, it would be dead and the battery would not be working. It's all about Q, okay? And another thing to remember, since pure solids and liquids are not in Q, changing the amounts of solids is going to do nothing to the voltage. So if I go back to this and I was like, hey, I increased the mass of Z in solid, no effect, because this solid is not in Q. It is not affecting anything in this Nernst equation. So therefore, my voltage would stay the same, whether I double it, whether I half it. So just remember that.